How's everybody doing today? Thank you again for joining for our third session with our political incorrectness live stream with myself and my colleague Alec Leilani. Tonight's going to be a great night. We have a lot to talk about. As you all know, we always bring up subjects that are controversial, stuff that are happening nowadays that we hear on TV, the news. It can be political stuff, worldwide events, different things. And tonight we're going to be talking about a variety of things about the Panama Papers that were leaked, about the FIFA corruption, about corruption in politics and corruption in the world. We're going to talk about our own hometown at FIU politics of what's going on right now. So we have a lot of different topics, and we have hopefully a special guest. Thanks to my colleague Alec Leilani, one of our mutual colleagues, is going to be joining us tonight at 10. You don't want to miss out on that. He's going to be bringing his own perspective of the European crisis and stuff that's going on in Europe from his own experience and travels abroad. So it's going to be a very interesting night. So I hope you guys are excited and you guys stay tuned. And I hope we have a very educational yet open dialogue discussion about all these topics. Right, Alec Leilani? And 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 don't be shy, guys. And say at this time, don't be shy, guys. You can ask us anything you like. It could be controversial, whatever it may be. We're here to answer questions and just to help you guys and ourselves understand and to have this open dialogue so we can all discuss these things and get different perspectives. So it's a plus. So what's on your mind today, Alec? Mm, true. Mm, I know, it's shocking. A couple days ago. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, there you go. You know what's crazy about it, Alec? That this bank, they call it like the Voldemort's bank because it first started with all these drug lords, these kingpins, all these mafioso guys where they launder their money through these offshore accounts. And of course, it went and expanded to like the multimillionaires, the well influential, and the political leaders now. But it's the fourth largest bank that deals with these offshore accounts. So imagine the first three, what they would have found. So man, this is the fourth one. So with all this information from that, it's incredible. Hmm. They have, I mean, well, first of all, they have big cojones. If no one knows that means, Spanish, big balls to do this because you're actually threatening some very influential and powerful people you don't play around with. No, I'm talking about Vladimir Putin, all these other world leaders that are around the world. All these, like I said, the drug pins, all these like underground or underworld crime leaders. So who knows? This file is huge, and they just began decrypting it and discovering all this information. But back to your point of who it could be, maybe it was a disgruntled employee that came upon this or heard upon this and said, you know what, I'm going to leak this out. This is so corrupt. Or maybe it's somebody, who knows? It could be someone who has a grudge against someone else or want to make them look bad. So who knows? Right now, it's all skeptical. And like you said, I agree with you. Someone probably had like some kind of issue with somebody, and they want us to leak out, because leaking this out, it exposed a lot of stuff. You know. They said this was one of the biggest leaks, even bigger than that WikiLeaks, even bigger than Edward Snowden, his leaks. So this is a huge thing, and I'm surprised till now, not in America.
1 second,
Name.
I just got a review from one of our viewers. He said that he wasn't able to hear me speak. I guess because I was trying to fix the audio on the stream. Sorry out there for everyone that wasn't able to hear me speak. I only were able to hear Ahmed. I think I was able to fix the problem. I think I fixed the problem. I don't know. Can you guys let me know if I didn't? I see the mic level coming out on there. Okay, now it says I have audio. Okay, so let's go back from the beginning where we were talking about, since they weren't able to hear me.
Still quick recap.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just so you guys know, we will have a special guest later on. I mentioned at the beginning of the show. You maybe not be able to hear me, but we will have a special guest coming around. I think 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
If you guys don't know, Patrick O'Brien. So let's start off with the issue with the Panama Papers. So
I mean, they heard me. So I mean, you just recap the question you had asked.
Okay. Okay. So wait, let me give a shout out to Carlos, because Carlos wants a shout out right now for helping me get the audio fixed on the video stream. So Carlos, I'm gonna give you a huge shout out right now. Thank you for fixing the stream. Thank you for having all the viewers being able to have us both have a intelligent conversation right now about politics and our current events. Without you, this stream would probably have gone on for about an hour without any voice or any audio coming from me. You would all just been hearing Ahmed and political incorrectness. Thank you, Carlos. So thank you.
But yeah, back to the issue. Like you were asking about the Panama leaks and how it was exposed and who would have exposed it, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with you, but go ahead.
So while I was talking without any audio earlier, we were thinking, or I was talking to my dad earlier, and he said, he brought up some very interesting topics or points. He said that the person that leaked this was out for revenge on somebody or wanted something. So maybe there was something that was going on, or they were trying to figure out something, or they were trying to get somebody in these tax haven accounts or offshore companies that were in Panama or done by this company, created by this company to hide all their money. Now, why would someone want to bust something like that? I know a lot of people hate taxes, right? I mean,
I don't think it's about taxes.
Do you hate taxes?
It's not about taxes, though.
But do you? No, it's not about. You're right. It's not about taxes, because it's about the people who are, wanting the certain individuals from, like Bernie Sanders, how he wants to tax individual, or even giving.
Are you trying to say that the people who exposed these people were because they were mad?
That. Okay. I'm just saying there's supporters out there, or like people that are embracing the idea of feeling the burn, that want to actually, increase the taxes of individuals.
Okay.
Let's tax the rich. Let's tax the 1%. Let's do all this and that. And maybe because since all these individuals were actually, hiding their money in an offshore company, they're like, you know what? Let's rat them out, and let's bring their money to the United States, and let's persecute them or prosecute them, whatever.
But this has been going on for years and years and years.
Yeah,
I'm surprised now.
On what's on these companies until now. Look, I was doing some research, and it said about like 200 American citizens have been identified as having these offshore accounts, or offshore companies that have been established by this law firm that was in Panama.
Like big corporations, stuff like that. Yeah, totally. And the rich and the famous, even the celebrities, like they have these accounts because, like you said, they want to avoid tax evasion, and they want to, keep their money in a safe place where they can just keep it without being taken away from them.
Right.
But I don't think it's an issue with Bernie Sanders, because look, this has been going on for years and years, and people have been hiding their money offshore. And like, I understand recently they've been talking about all these offshore accounts and how we should tax and whatnot. Okay, I understand that, but I think is bigger than this. There's something like I guess as the weeks come, we're gonna start seeing more things being revealed, and as soon as it comes out more and more, we'll get the bigger picture of what's going on. But back to that Prime Minister of Iceland, he must have did some crazy stuff to get resigned over that, you
Oh
know?
yeah, that was man. You know what? You know, I was reading something about it, and in the newspaper or in CNN, they were talking about how he was calling for fresh elections in Iceland.
Mm,
After he got caught, or he was getting accused of hiding his money on offshore accounts or offshore
hmm.
companies in Panama. He was
Yeah.
like, to prove that there's nothing bad within our government, we're gonna have fresh elections within our party
Mm.
and see if they still want the same people in power. And then a week later, or like 3 days later, he's like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just resigning. I'm just resigning. I can't take the political pressure anymore. I just need to resign.
Doesn't it sicken you that the whole world, like the people who are supposed to lead these countries, who are supposed to lead by example, they're just so corrupt and they have so much hidden like drama and secrets that they hide from the public. Like, doesn't it like can like the question to you like what do you think the world like these people who rule these countries or leaders in the I guess world leaders you say how can they be examples to people yet they are so corrupt themselves.
Well, it's not that they're. It depends what country you're in. I think it has to depend a lot on that, because like if you're in Iceland or you're in the UK, they don't tolerate that.
Well, hello, time out because David Cameron, the Prime Minister of
His
UK, his
dad, his
father and
father
this
was linked to that law
yeah.
from yes.
Let's just settle down all the countries there is some level of corruption there. Let's agree to that there is.
Remember, the sins of the father do not affect the sins of the son.
I'm not saying that, but there is a level of corruption worldwide. There's a level of corruption everywhere.
Okay.
We can agree to that. Look at the big powers, even Russia. Vladimir Putin,
Well,
he's
you know
leader of
what?
Russia.
I have been
Okay,
wanting to get rid of
America.
Vladimir Putin for a while, and I think that now this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Well, I
Oh,
mean,
not to,
to the United States, because in regards to Russian relations, because now, I mean, if you can't get rid of a president that's been corrupt, that's leading your country
uh,
into a downward spiral. I mean, their economy is shit now because their
yeah.
oil is not even making them money.
Find me someone to step up to Vladimir Putin and tell him to leave. Find me someone. It's
Hey,
impossible over there. No one's gonna do it.
you know
They're
what?
gonna get
I
killed or
used to
sent to
think that
jail.
Vladimir Putin is leading Russia back to the Cold War status, how it used to be when it was the Soviet Union. Vladimir Putin, he himself was in the KGB
Yeah.
when it was there during the Cold War.
He's not a stupid guy. This guy's an intelligent guy, and he's a strong leader.
I
Let's
mean,
be
look at
let's
him.
be honest.
He takes videos of him doing karate in front of his citizens. Like he's
Like,
just like, hey
like
man, look at me. If I can get into a fight with
I,
Obama, I could win.
I'll be real with you. I think he has no respect for Obama. I bet you $1 million. Like if you ever look at them interact with each other, I feel like he just pities Obama in America. Because if you look at the two leaders, right? I would say Vladimir Putin. He looks more stronger, more he has very like a power and will to rule. But when you look at Obama, he seems like very like conservative and weak, unfortunately. But I'm saying it's going to take a lot of inner workings or outer sources to take him out of power because this guy's been in power for a long time. Even though at one time when he got out, he came back in, but still, like it's going to be tough to take him out.
I mean, Vladimir Putin. How long has he been president? He was prime minister first before he became president. Was that? I don't know. Is that true?
I think he was president. Then they had elections, and they voted for the other guy to come into power, and then
He
they
came
voted
back.
again, and then he came back.
Okay, so he honestly, I think that at this time, um, I think they need to. I think they need a new president. Honestly, they need a new government. Look, their economy is shit right now. It's completely shit. They're trying to fight with Saudi Arabia and Venezuela to get the prices of oil to go up. Yet Saudi Arabia is just like, nah, we're not decreasing our oil output. We're gonna let you struggle to make some money before we make some money because we need to kill American shale boom right now. Do you happen to know
What
what
was
the
that?
shale boom is?
What did you say? Was that
It's the
Shell?
shale oil boom. It's what the United States has been doing the last 10 years. They've been doing the shale revolution, which was they were extracting oil from
Mm.
shale deposits in the ground. And this was a way for the U.S. to start increasing their oil export and their oil production. in the United States, so they don't have to rely on foreign oil anymore. It was a great idea. I mean, look, now they can get oil for $60 a barrel compared to like $100 a barrel.
Yeah.
And Saudi Arabia was like, wow, like they're not even using us anymore. So let's just increase the supply of oil, and let's just go ahead and keep producing more and more and more, and we'll probably make more money than the U.S. oil, and then their factories are gonna have to shut down because there's too much oil in the market. But you know what? U.S. is thriving, so.
And it's funny you bring it up because they were also mentioned in the Panama leak as
Yes,
well.
yes, correct. The Saudi
So
kings
kings,
and
monarchs, all these
yeah,
people.
they're all mentioned in there, and when it makes you think, how much taxes are they charging them in Saudi Arabia for all this oil? Like, is there? There's a lot
Well,
of oil coming out of
remember,
there.
their system is different. So, you know, so I mean, it's incredible. These guys, like you look at them and outer appearance, like we see them daily, you know, the pictures and stuff like that. They look like normal, innocent people, but then you look behind the scenes and you see this greed and this corruption just like deteriorating these people. It's horrific, and who knows what's gonna happen? I mean, right now it's just money stuff and other things. They even said some guy who had intercourse with orphans, young teenage girls over in Russia. He also
Wow,
had an account in there as well. I was watching
I
today on the news.
actually saw that same
It,
video you saw.
yeah, it's crazy. It's like who knows what's
Folks, if
gonna.
you haven't seen it yet, the Panama Papers, please check it out. It's all over the internet this week. The release of these certain papers that have pretty much diminished and disrespected the hardworking people of the world, of certain countries, because all of these political leaders and elected leaders have basically put all their corruption money, well, not the corruption money, basically their money that they made, either, we don't know how, maybe through their government or through money laundering or whatever.
Yeah,
They're
it
basically
could
putting
be.
them in offshore companies in Panama, not in Panama, made by the Panamanian law firms, and they're basically creating tax havens for all these elected leaders. I don't understand. How can you be an elected leader if you can't even? I don't
That's what
know.
happens when you have power and money. It sucks
Yeah.
you in unless you
How can you
control
be an elected
yourself.
leader if you don't pay taxes? It just doesn't make any sense.
No, but the thing is, to our next topic that we were talking about, the FIFA corruption as well,
Yeah.
they were also implicated in the Panama Papers too.
Yes. Yes.
It's everywhere. Everybody's involved. It's so incredible, you know?
Hmm.
Who's not involved? I'm surprised none of the leaders in America have been mentioned yet. I'm really shocked, to be honest with you. Who knows who's next? Who's going to be coming up next on these documents? The more they get unraveled, and the more people
Oh, I
dig in
heard.
and
I think next
research.
week all the documents are going to be unraveled by then, which is about like 20 million documents.
Yeah, so let's see what happens there. That's going to be something big right there.
It's a big document. So FIFA, the big empire it is of soccer. Man, how
Hmm.
many allegations has it went through in the past month?
A lot.
No, past year. I'm sorry, past year. I think beginning of the summer, with that FBI report being released, so much corruption. Even it goes all the way to Switzerland. Switzerland has
Yeah.
been known to be a a personal center for people, individuals that want to hide their money or corruption.
Hmm.
You know, with it, whether it be it's banks, and now it's the FIFA organization, which apparently has been indicted by so many governments around the world that it's just ridiculous how these people can just hide their money or take their money, bribe individuals, and it's just ridiculous. And you just do it. It's just basically around a sport that all
Hmm.
they do is just play soccer. You know,
Yeah, but think about it. Think how much like oh, this soccer. For example, let's look at football in the States. It's like $1 billion industry, makes so much money. So think of FIFA, and FIFA is even bigger because the whole world loves soccer and they play soccer. If you go to the Middle East, Europe, it's the number one sport over there. So imagine how much income and revenue they bring in just from the fans, the merchandise, the players, the brand, all
yeah,
that stuff. So I can see how these guys could get sucked into keeping some of this money offshore accounts, corrupting the system. It's like I said, all that power and wealth. If you're weak, it could take a hold of you and make you do crazy and illegal things, unfortunately.
yeah.
And that's what you're seeing here with FIFA. These guys thought they could get away with things. Next thing you
He
know,
became like the new
investigation,
president of
boom.
FIFA. It's
And what
just
happened?
insane.
He had to resign, right? Because it was too much. He was good. He knew it.
Okay, so I want to jump into American politics real quick. I
Mm,
want to discuss what happened with the recent Wisconsin primaries.
shocking.
What do we
I mean,
start?
I wasn't
Who
too
do you want to
shocked.
talk? Who do you want to talk about first? Republicans or Democrats?
We'll go with whatever you want. Let's go with Republicans,
Okay,
whatever.
let's do the Republicans since we did Democrats last week first.
Um,
Okay, so Republicans. Donald Trump lost the primary of
that was
Wisconsin.
expected.
He only gained. No, it wasn't expected. He was
Yeah,
supposed to win in the beginning of the
I
primary
don't
season.
know. For Wisconsin, no. If you look at the past couple weeks with Wisconsin, he was down by like 15, 20%. It was like 40 to 20, or sorry, like 50 or to 30 or something like that. But he was already down. So if you look at other states that he really put a lot of
Yeah.
effort into, you saw he was very heavily involved with his speeches, his going around
Maybe
stuff.
there's something
I
in
felt
the
like
campaign shift that might have happened.
I don't know. I think they were more that area of the U.S. I think they were more towards Ted Cruz and his principles and his ideology and his way than they were for Trump. And I think this past 2 weeks with between Ted Cruz and Trump, if you look how Trump was going down with the women voting, as he meant those comments about abortion, how women should be punished, which I think is crazy, to be honest with you. How can you? This is one topic that just drives me crazy. How can you tell a woman what she can do with her own body? Like, that's her own body. If she wants to have a child, let her have a child. If she doesn't want to have a child,
You
then
heard
she
it
doesn't
from the
have a
med
child.
student. You heard it from
I
the med
mean,
student.
yo, but for real, it baffles me how someone could tell you what to do with your own body.
Maybe she feels uncomfortable having the child in her body, right? Is there times where patients, they can't.
Yeah, yeah. Like, for example, they can't support it financially, or they don't have the responsibilities, or the help, or the aid. It was a mistake, or it was rape, or it could be so many options. I mean,
Now,
so
I
many
don't want to
things.
say we're pro-life or pro-abortion. Like, guys, this is not the show that we're gonna be switching sides. But this is just a doctor, future doctor. I'm sorry.
We're just
We're
exchanging,
just exchanging, words between the rim of what's going on in the political world. You know, I like the fact that we are discussing these issues because they are very. I mean, they're very on the top of the topic right here. We're trying to see why Donald Trump lost Wisconsin. Now,
so
this
those
state,
those comments about
yeah,
women, like how he was saying, "Oh, we should punish them for doing this." I think all that and plus other comments he made in the past, I think it really hurt him with the women votes. So that going down, and I think people are, as the more you get closer to the convention and whatnot, people are starting to like, and less people running. Only three of them now. They're starting to pretty much shift to a certain individual what they're looking for.
now let me give you a big thing that happened because of Wisconsin. Why is Trump in why is he looking to lose this right now? This primary season, Trump, because he lost Wisconsin, he only gained 6 delegates from the primary,
That's okay.
while Ted Cruz gained about 30 something. So he needs to win at least 60% of the next primaries, 60% of the delegates in the next primaries, in order to win the nomination.
You're talking about Cruz, right?
No, Trump.
Well, he has New York coming up next. That's
Well,
for sure a win
he's
for
from New
Trump.
York. Obviously, he's gonna win that. Well,
Yeah,
how
but
the
those
question is,
northern states,
how much
though,
is he gonna win by?
all of it. He's up in the poll by 50. He has 50%. The next one's like at 30 or 20. I forgot. But like this guy, the whole Northeast. Watch me. Trump's gonna win that whole area right there. I
Now,
feel like
what
the
about
more
California?
mid.
California comes in June. Coming
I
to
think he's
California has
gonna
a
take
lot of
that.
delegates.
I think he's gonna take that too. To be honest with you, because California is a very
It's a
it's
very
like a
liberal
melting
state.
pot. Yeah.
It's a very liberal state, but the thing is, I can't see them voting for a guy that wants so much change and so much difference, and he goes more with conservative, or not conservative. He goes more with the people that want, I guess, to make America great again. As simply as I can put it,
Yeah.
he just
He has a big
yeah.
movement. He has been a very powerful figure in alluring people to his cause. If you look at it, the masses he has, the speeches and all that stuff, he's a very prominent figure in society. And I feel like as they go through the Northeast and up and like that back forth, I think he has a good chance in California. Kasich, we already know Kasich's just there to make the convention have a whole thing with that. But with Ted Cruz, I really doubt that he will take California, to be honest with you. I don't feel like he has that attraction to the Californians, That's my opinion, but that's how I feel from watching the race and watching all the politics that's been going on lately with that.
I mean, I think Cruz can really get close to Trump in California, but I don't think Trump can take all of California. What do you think?
I feel like he could take a majority of California. That's my opinion because just seeing how things go and seeing who he is as a personality, he's a celebrity, and Hollywood is in California and all that stuff. So it's like just in my take, that's how I take it in. But again, nowadays you never know. So from the track they're on right now, like I said, Northeast, and I feel like California, and then mainly the Midwest and mid region, maybe Cruz will take some. But again,
Hmm.
Trump's up. We have to give him props. He's still in the lead. He still has the most delegates that voted for him. So we have to give him props for that. But again, let's see what happens in the days to come.
Now let's move on to the Democratic primary. Sanders. Holy
On a
crap!
six, he's on a 6-win
He's
streak
on a
right now.
six-win streak out of seven past state primaries.
Hmm.
Wow, this
Yeah,
guy is on a fire right now. Do you think Hillary Clinton has anything to be concerned about right now?
New York, she'll take New York for sure.
Oh, obviously.
She's not.
But you
I
think
I
I think
think
Bernie Sanders will come close though.
again, well, let's see what happens. But I think still she'll take it. But I think Hillary Clinton is more focused on the bigger prize states because these past 6 states have been whatever. It's been doable to get by.
I think
But
without the super delegate count, Hillary is only
yeah,
about 200 delegates away from Bernie
yeah.
Sanders.
That's one thing she has. The more super delegates would put her ahead. But if you think about it, I mean, right now, if he keeps on going on this streak of getting like these amazing wins, all of a sudden,
Hmm.
he has a chance to come back. So let's see how it goes. If she wins one next one, okay. But if he comes up with another couple more states afterwards, because right now they're 50% through already. They have like 50% more of the votes, which is like 2,000 votes or 3,000 votes, whatever. But it's still 50% done. So it's anyone's game right now. He could come back from behind, or she go continue gradually going slowly. But once she hits that limit, then she's
Now we got to figure out how is the super delegates gonna affect Bernie. Like, is the delegates gonna go back to Bernie Sanders, or I mean, not necessarily go back because they never did go to him, but are they gonna actually attract more to Bernie Sanders than they are to Hillary? Because right now Hillary has about 500, or was it is it 500 or 400?
like 350 or something like that.
350 super delegates. Wow.
Yeah, but thing is, I think if he keeps on pushing his message and he keeps on getting these amazing victories, I think it would open the eyes of the delegates and say, I don't know if he'll go with Hillary Clinton. Maybe I should go with Bernie Sanders because the population, everybody's
Yeah, but are
loving
you
this
gonna
guy.
pick a vice? No, are you gonna pick a first lady of a vice president over an individual who was never even in the executive branch?
Let me ask you this: shouldn't it be the will of the people to vote who they want to be in power?
But it's not the will of the super delegates.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but like, shouldn't they consider what the people want?
They should, but remember, the super delegates are people that are higher ups within the
No,
Democratic Party.
no, I understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm saying, shouldn't they take into consideration of
they
what
should.
America
You're
wants?
right, they should. But I mean, till then, we just have to see because right now,
It's
Bernie
it.
Sanders and Hillary are just neck and neck.
I'm telling you, whoever is the more okay, whoever has the more momentum and starts getting more votes, like I think the delegates will start shifting their way towards that either that person or the other
Let me
person.
stop you for a second. Hey guys, if you're watching the stream right now, I would like to, me and Ahmed, would like you to share the stream if you can. We want to get more viewers on here asking more questions. We want to know what's going on. We want to hear from your thoughts. Please share the stream. We want to get you more involved and get this more of a political view out there and see what's going on. You have anything to say, Ahmed?
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, don't be shy, guys. Send your questions if you have any throughout the process, and yeah. But we're talking about good things. That's what I'm saying. Like these politicians. I mean, with the Democratic race right now, it's very close. Is anybody? I mean, even though she's up by 200, he could still come back. And we've seen the last 6 days, he's been coming back little by little, slowly. So if he keeps up that momentum, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe he's changing people's minds. They're starting to see who he really is and stuff like that. So.
Okay, we're gonna bring about Patrick O'Brien in just a few minutes. Well, like 9:45. What do you think, Ahmed? You think we should bring him on now? Or you think you should wait?
Well, like we have planned. That's what we should go by.
Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna bring him on at 9:45. I don't know if anybody had any questions about the Democratic or primaries or the Republican primaries, but I just want to bring to you all the attention of what was it we were going to talk about
Oh, the FIU
the
politics.
FIU politics. Let's.
Yeah.
I mean, most
Since
of my
since we're since we're FIU alumni, we had to
FIU
talk about.
alumni. This is for all the FIU students watching the stream right now. I know this may not affect most of you that are watching the stream or watching the video later on, but this is a very pressing and concerning issue for us.
It'll be a quick one because we know our
Yeah,
viewers are
quick.
very diverse.
Yeah,
But pretty much it's just like we have, as everybody knows, we all been through college and, we all had SGA, elections, stuff
SGA.
like that, which is Student Government Association. And just a quick summary of this past, couple months,
Explain it to them in full.
yeah, so pretty much one of our colleagues, Mr. Alian Colazo, which is a amazing individual, phenomenal person. He decided to run from Central at large to become SGA president this term. So he's been doing his campaign. He's been very truthful, very honest, and running a great campaign with a lot of followers. He's with a group called FIU, and they do a phenomenal job. And it's just this week, he was running against another individual, and apparently that individual was disqualified because if you want to run for SGA president, you need to be a year in the Senate, right, Alec?
Yeah, you have to be
Yeah.
no not in
So
the Senate in
or in
SGA.
the SGA, excuse
Yeah,
me. So he wasn't a year. So they took it to court, and the court ruled on him, and they said that he's not eligible. So since he got butthurt, he decided, oh, he's going to write an article, and he wrote this very nasty article accusing the chief justice of the Senate that he was doing misjudging and all these negative comments about Mr. Alian Colazo and stuff like that. So it's just so disconcerting to see people just because they don't get their way, they tend to do very negative things and call people negative stuff and just create this issue where there's no issue needed to be. So anyhow, that's what's been happening this week because they're supposed to have elections this week at our campus, our alma mater. And so it was just kind of, just wow, y'all just like, I can't believe this is happening. But anyhow, we both know that, Mr. Adrian Colazo is going to destroy, he's going to get the votes, and he's going to win SGA president. I'm looking forward to shaking his hand when I get back. So that's been a quick summary right there. So, like I said, if you go through a system and the system doesn't, it says, oh, look, you can't
I mean, it
run
doesn't
for
happen
it.
during the presidential race in the
Yeah.
U.S. It doesn't happen there. It shouldn't happen here, right?
Thank you.
Shouldn't happen
Yeah.
at FIU. So I want to take this second. I want to say something. Political incorrectness. That's the name of our show. We're gonna have some themes coming on in a couple weeks. Some
Amen.
nice things. Background all flashy around here. It's just instead of the blackness around our box. But before we do, we want to endorse Alian Collazo
Yes,
as
sir.
the FIU SGA president for next year.
Amen. 2016, 2017, right
So
there.
we hope that he does win because we think he will make the best candidate. He will be the best candidate.
Yes,
He will
sir.
make FIU better, and it will expand into the FIU property. I mean, the Tamiami Park property, the fair property that we need to get into. And we need to build more, and we can increase the education and the research that is coming into this university.
And this guy, Mr. Adrian Colazo, he's one of the most dedicated, most sincere, honest, hardworking individuals I've met in my life. Who just not only cares about his campus and his schooling and to continue expanding it, but he also cares about the system and education process for all the students and the students' body itself. So he's a very humble person. So you can always approach him, and if you don't believe me, go talk to him yourself and see what his views and thoughts are. But that was our little plug-in right there from Mr. Colazo and FIU group at FIU.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna take, I think, a 2-minute break as we get Mr. Patrick O'Brien on the stream. Hold on a second. We might have to wait for this 2-minute break because Mr. Patrick or Mr. O'Brien won't be able to get on to
Well,
Skype in a second.
I'll give the viewers a little info
Yeah.
who Mr. Patrick O'Brien is. So Mr. Patrick O'Brien was one of my pledge brothers, as you say, back in college, and he majored in accounting, financing. That's what he's been studying at FIU. So he got a very good view of business and financing that's going on, not only in the U.S., but abroad in Europe too. So he's going to be coming in talking to us about his recent travels to Europe and how the economic crisis and corruption, you say, as he firsthand saw it over there during his travels. So it'll be a very nice treat for our viewers to get a different world perspective of people who've been in this situation, who've been to these places, and have seen these things firsthand. So it's going to be great. I think so.
Yeah, I'm just bringing them on right now. It takes a little while. Thank you for all the
Perfect.
viewers. Keep on watching. They keep on watching our show. We're just waiting on Patrick O'Brien to get on. In the meantime, did you hear what's happening in Miami
Which one?
with these companies getting linked to these condos?
Yeah, I'm kind of sad though because my city, I don't want it to suffer. My city, I want it to be blessed. I want
Bless
it to
up,
be
boy.
success.
Bless
Yes,
up.
amen, right there. Like I want it to be like I want to strive. I want to have more like income, success, and continue to invest in property. But it hurts me to see that. So I hope it'll fly by and people will be able to get over this and hopefully positivity come in and they can fix this situation that's going on.
Mm. Well, it looks like Patrick O'Brien can't get on for today.
Okay.
He can't connect to Skype. I don't know. We're having some technical difficulties. If you guys can please bear with us. Um, Another issue. So you know what? Since Patrick can't come on, let's do a segment anyways. Let's talk about the European debt crisis.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Do you think?
European debt crisis. So, how much is the dollar worth right now to compare to euros? Can you suggest? Do you know that on top of your head?
On top of my head, no, but I know that I think the euro is worth a little bit more.
Is it? Let's see.
Let's check it out.
Euro
Because I
to
remember
dollar.
when I was in Italy and Czechoslovakia, the euro was
Wow.
more than a dollar.
Listen to this. The euro is worth $1.14.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Compared to what it was in 2012 when it was about $1.45.
Okay, so you see, so how was it in 2009 or 2010?
2009, 2010. I don't know if it can show me that much. It probably won't go back that way.
Well, at that time when I was in Europe traveling and going through that, the euro was very good monetary wise. It was had a high value to it and everything. So I guess it's been going down. I guess the whole just the recession, everything's been hurting everybody. You can see that.
Yeah, I mean the recession has been hurting a lot in the industry. I guess the negative interest they've been implementing negative interest, have they? In Europe, I think they've been doing it in Japan where if you keep money in an account in a savings account, they charge you
Mm-hmm.
negative interest, which is like basically
Mm.
the interest that you should be getting. Like
Okay.
3% interest every time you keep your money in a savings account, you accumulate 3% interest every year. You
Mm.
actually get they charge you negative 3% for keeping your money in a bank. They want you to keep spending your money. They don't want you to put it in a savings.
Wow. Damn.
So they're thinking about implementing that in Europe, negative interest, because they want people to spend their money and just spend it in the economy instead of keeping it in a bank and saying, "Oh no, I don't know what's going on with this economy, so I'm just gonna save my money." You know,
And plus those bailouts with Greece
you think those
and
bailouts are actually working?
I don't know. I feel like those bailouts are not really helping the issue. Okay, yeah, it helps the issue. Oh, you bail them out, good. But I don't think it solves the inner core issues of why they got into that debt crisis.
Yeah,
I think that they really need to work with the governments to teach them, to help them set up a system where that this cannot occur again. Not just to bail them out like that with money. No.
yeah. I mean, the money. Honestly, you can only do so much when you give so much money to a country. I think by this time next year, Greece is going to need another bailout, and then the European Union is just going to finally say, "Goodbye, Greece. We can't do
Hmm.
much for you. We can't bail you out. We've done all we can. You just don't know how to manage your money."
Hmm.
It's all these countries are asking for bailouts. I think didn't Germany need a bailout, or who was it recently? Spain.
Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Ah. Oh my God, I remember. I don't know why Greece is the one that's popping my mind right now.
Well, they
But
obviously needed a bailout. They needed a
yeah,
bailout. They needed help with the refugees from Syria.
Yeah, true, true. Oh man, and plus that whole refugee swarming in through Europe. Oh my God, and like overcrowding, overpopulation, bringing diseases and bringing all these issues, and like it's just chaotic right now
Oh
through that
wait,
whole
hey,
belt.
we got a message from our viewer. He says to bail out Wall Street. Bail
Yeah,
out Wall Street. You think we should bail out Wall
yeah.
Street? There's no.
I think they should learn their own lesson. To be honest with you,
You think if something happened again like it happened in 2008, you think we should bail them out again?
I think they should be taken and prosecuted.
Honestly, if you don't know how to manage your money, you need to get kicked out of what you're doing.
Yeah. Why
Why
are
are
they
you
there in
going to
the first
continue
place?
doing the same job which led to your ultimate failure?
Yeah.
It
There's a
doesn't
good
make
movie.
sense.
There's a great movie if viewers haven't
Oh, I
watched. It's
saw
called The
that.
Big
Big
Short.
Short. I'm sorry, I've seen it. It was a really good movie.
That watch that movie and you understand what I just said.
Man, that movie explained everything to me.
It's
The whole
sad.
housing situation, when it came down to what subprime and what, regular
And the
prime
thing,
was.
and the thing is, the government just bailed them out. None of them got charged or went to jail or anything. That
Yeah, they
like
just, you know what they did? They ended up getting a raise and a bonus, and they ended up going taking their vacation at like freaking Fiji or what is that place called? Bora Bora in the
yeah,
Pacific. Man, these guys don't even care about what goes on with these people that lose their
they don't.
jobs.
Unfortunately, it's sad. Imagine like it was awful, and I think that's what they should have done. Instead of just bailing out, and say, hey, you know what? You guys commit all this stuff. Maybe you need to spend some time in jail and learn from your mistakes. Or hey, made the mistakes. You need to fix them. And then if you're really worth it, then we'll bail you out. We'll see if if it needs bailout. But it's awful what happened. A lot of people, a lot of innocent people, a lot of middle income, a lot of poor income individuals lost everything. They lost their houses, their cars, their daily stuff. They lost their jobs, and it was just awful. So imagine yourself being in those positions, those people who lost everything. Of course, you with a lot of money and you the bank account stuff, you don't care. You're trying to make that quick buck. But those people that suffered, man, like I remember my neighborhood, where we live in Miramar, um, a lot of people's homes went up for sale. They got evicted. They couldn't, foreclosed. That's what it was, foreclosed. And a lot of my neighbors left. A lot of people that were good people just couldn't take it anymore because they lost everything from this whole recession. It was just awful. And I hope that the government can figure out a way to prevent this in the future and to find a, a solution to these issues financially.
I mean, honestly, these guys are just in it for the money. They don't care what happens to anybody that loses their house. Their company might go bad. You know, their paychecks might get a little bit less than what they were because they're firing all these people in their company. They might have to do a little bit more work, but at the end of the day, it doesn't affect them that much. The only thing it does is really just they're not getting be able to pay for the new yacht they're going to be able to get for the next year, or make a payment on a house that they can't afford in California or whatever,
I
New
just
York.
I just wish that humanity became humbled again and went away from that me selfishness to becoming more selfless and to being avoiding your neighbors, avoiding people, to becoming more approachable, more humble, more lending an assistant hand to those who really do need it, because I feel like we're just being deteriorated apart and there's no more of that connection we have between people, that love and that compassion. And that's what we really need. We need to bring back that love and that compassion to be willing to help ourselves and our fellow brothers and sisters in this world. This is our world together. Why should we let it crumble and let it suffer?
All right, so I think I'm gonna bring Patrick O'Brien onto the stream. So give me a second. I don't know how to bring him on there. P.
Say while you do that, I'll continue just a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, but yeah, like I think that humanity as a whole, we need to learn from our mistakes, then repeat them. You know what I mean? Like throughout the world wars, the recessions, the bailouts, the corruptions. If we as society don't learn from these mistakes, it's just going to be a continual pattern of it in the near future.
Correct.
And we have to learn and to adapt and to work together as a whole to fix these issues. We don't want corrupt leaders. We
No.
don't want these recessions happening where my father, my mother, my brother, my sister, my relatives, we see them suffer and whatnot. No, we want things better, not for ourselves, but for our family members, our friends, our loved ones, and all whatnot. You could say. So hopefully in the future, as I think that with these Panama Papers exposing these corrupt individuals, it's going to spark a change in people and say, you know what, we're tired of this. We want change, and they want like leaders that they feel that are more for the people and more humble and not as corrupt as these past people have been. So with this change, it could probably better society, and it could allow for a
Okay.
better world, concerns to be solved. So
Yeah, I mean, it's true. We got all these people that are being concerned about the world, and we don't know what direction it's going into. But we need to look out for that. We need to be aware of what's going on, and we need to be ourselves and become proud citizens of what's going on in our government. A lot of these people are not really concerned about what goes on every single day in this government. Okay?
mm,
We have people that are like, man, I can't believe my senator just passed that bill last year. I can't believe he helped say yes. He voted yes. And I'm just thinking, like, man, don't you pay attention to politics? Didn't you vote for that man? You guys need to understand when you vote for somebody, you look at the track record. You look how they do as they do in government, whether it be when they're working in state government and they're trying to go for federal government positions. You need to
hmm
understand, what are they going to vote for? What kind of person are they going to be? If you got someone like Donald Trump who's just going to talk and say all these bad things and say, hey, I'm going to make America great again by doing this, this, and this, chances are he's probably going to do that. And, it might sound all nice, but when it actually happens, it's not going to happen well.
People need to read their platforms. They need to go to their websites, look at Donald Trump, look at Ted Cruz, look at John Kasich, look at Hillary Clinton, look at Bernie Sanders, and read what they're standing for. What are their platforms on immigration, on the economy, on social issues, on political issues, on we call world issues and foreign issues. They need to read these things and get to know what these people really stand for and promote. Not just, oh, I hear some fancy words, some controversial words. Okay, that's it. No, you need to really research who these people are, because they're going to be your and our leaders in the near future.
Of course. All right, so we're just waiting on Patrick O'Brien to go on. Anything else you want to talk about, Mr. Allen Haas?
Well,
This guy's coming back down to Miami. He's gonna say goodbye to the island, man,
not goodbye for sure. I have to come back again
for a
afterwards.
few weeks.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a blessing right there. Just can't wait to come back home to Miami. I'm
Yes,
telling all my
yes,
viewers,
yes.
if you haven't been to Miami, this is to my viewers. If you haven't been to Miami, or if you're from Miami, you know what I'm saying. This city is just a phenomenal city. It's the most beautiful city in the world, and that's just, I'm proud to say that because I've traveled and I've seen other places, but Miami's been always a place to my heart, and I'm always happy to be there. Just the diversity and just the culture. So if you ever get a chance to go to Miami, if you're from Miami, I encourage you all just to go out to nightlife. Try different diverse foods out there, the cafe, and all that good stuff. It's a beautiful culture and just so diverse.
Cafecito.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there's always something to do. It's always live. You get the beach, you get the nightlife, you get the people. It's just amazing. So I can't wait to come back to my friends, and everybody knows who they are, and just all my loved ones. I just can't wait to be with them again. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be good.
All right, I'm gonna be adding Patrick O'Brien to this call. He will be joining us live.
Perfect. I can't wait to see. I really would like to hear what he's gonna say. Hey, what's up?
Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and fix you, sir.
Oh, there he is. How's it going, Mr. O'Brien?
How are you, sir?
Good,
We all
good. Yourself?
we all decided to wear the same color shirts. I like.
I like it. Good. He has fashion. He always has. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us. So that's
Thank
good.
you.
So
Thank you.
we're all eager to hear your views and your opinions and your experiences you had with the whole European issues and whatnot.
I'm gonna do a little bit of explaining first, and then we'll move on to how everything happens.
Perfect.
I came in a little late on the show, so if Alec could let me know what's going on.
Well, we were just talking about. Well, let me first say, It's great to have you on the show, Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Alec. Thank you.
Why,
Great.
why don't you why don't
Great.
you why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers so they
All right.
get to know who you are first?
So my name is Patrick O'Brien. I'm a management major here at FIU. I am fraternity brothers with Alec and Ahmed. Ahmed is my pledge brother, actually, when we pledged in summer of 2011. So it's a
A good time.
it's a great honor. It's a great honor.
Good memories.
Why don't you tell them about those memories?
No, we'll keep that to another show. But anyhow, okay. So you do have a background. You studied in FIU about the
Correct. Yeah.
business.
Actually, one of my projects this semester is about the European financial crisis. So it's an honor to be able to explain to your viewers, a little bit of what's going on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean,
All right. Well, hey, Alec, why don't you go ahead and let them
Sure.
know what we're talking about.
Okay, so what we were talking about was the European debt crisis. We were talking a little bit about it, about how some of the countries that got bailed out, but we weren't going into much detail because we didn't know if you were going to get on or not. Thank God, thank God you got on, man, because we were having such a difficult time trying to explain ourselves. Because we're amateurs at this. I'm telling you, this is the reason why we start the stream. We're amateur Americans trying to figure out what the political sense and current events are going on in this world.
Yep, that's a great thing. I'm glad that YouTube finally has this sort of a thing going on where they can, have this normal thing where Ahmed's in the Caribbean and you're in Broward and I'm here in Miami just talking about stuff.
The internet, man, works in
Bless.
various ways. So we were talking about the Panama Papers.
Okay.
Let's first talk about that, and then we'll move on to the European debt crisis. Let's get your opinion on that. What do you think about the Panama Papers?
I think it's a huge break in actually they're calling it the biggest cyber leak in the history of cyber leaks, I guess. The fact that something like this exists is, it's crazy if you think about it. The fact that so many leaders are listed on this thing, on these papers, I think it's somewhere like 11.4 million documents were leaked. And you went from Vladimir Putin to the Icelandic prime minister who recently stepped down.
Can you believe that, man? Like, he stepped down.
You know what? The people want what the people want. I don't know if our viewers saw the riots that happened in Revenjack yesterday, but they were calling
only 300,000 people that live there.
Basically, the entire capital city went out to the Parliament building and called for him to step down, and he did. So, but there's going to be way more. All governments and all types of entities are looking at these papers to see who could be implicated. So far, no Americans have been found, but I wouldn't.
What do you mean no Americans have been found?
I wouldn't.
I think they've been found.
No, like the leaders, I'm shocked. I'm with them. Like I told you earlier, I'm shocked that none of them have found it. But again, they're still deciphering.
It's
so
still,
who knows?
yeah, we're still deciphering through that.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be all deciphered by next week. We'll find out who the truth. What do you think? What do you guys think if Donald Trump is found within these papers?
Honestly, I'll let Ahmed go first.
No, go ahead.
Honestly, I don't really think he'll be found there. He's always been a kind of a guy to make sure he covers his tracks. I mean, in the good way, of if he's involved in out of the country tax stuff. I think his empire is too big for him to be actually investing in something that he needs more money on. His empire is already big enough, so I don't really think he needs to implicate himself in that.
But do
I think he'll be found? Probably not. I don't think he was actually implicated.
I mean, come on, the president of Russia got found.
Yeah, but that's all those countries are involved with.
Even Saudi kings that have billions and billions of dollars in oil.
Saudi,
where are they gonna put it?
Those countries are a little different. The United States does their business here.
Oh, we lost Ahmed.
I'm sorry, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Your camera just disappeared.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good. But can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but like he was saying, like all those, like if you look at all the countries, like Saudi Arabia, I bet you Iran, I bet you even China's gonna be found. I have a feeling in Japan.
Actually,
Japan.
They found yesterday the Chinese was involved too. So
I mean, obviously the Chinese are involved. They own almost everything, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I saw on the news today that that fourth bank. I totally slipped my mind. The bank they were talking about. Was this bank? Oh no, sorry. This is another bank. It's called Rothschild or something like that.
Oh.
You know about? You heard about that?
Is that Warren Buffett's account bank?
This is like another type of bank, but it was just interesting since we're talking about this,
I don't know
but it
what's wrong with
owns.
his video. His video's out. You see his
It's all
video?
good. It's all good.
It's
But
fine.
the
We just
thing
get
is,
voice
the
via
thing is,
satellite from the Caribbean.
yeah,
It's that Caribbean internet.
they own, like, they have a bank in every country except Korea, Cuba, and I forgot some other country, but it was incredible. But it seems like these banks have so much power over people and nations and whatnot.
Well, because remember what the banks do? The banks control the money,
Mm-hmm.
and money controls the world. So
Exactly.
if you have a country with no money, look at it. Look at all these some of these communist countries. Look at North Korea, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
who is bankrupt beyond repair. But they have their own banks as well, their national banks and all that stuff. But that doesn't make them
Did you see
doesn't make
that?
them any richer. Yeah, that doesn't make them any richer than they are.
That's true.
Mr. On the Hoss, your video is not showing. Oh, there
There
we
we
go.
go. We're
Oh,
back.
Yeah, nah, to fix
Pitbull
it,
has
yeah.
arrived. I think On the Hoss has left the building. Pitbull has arrived to the
back.
stream. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. 305 on the
This guy-
stream.
What we call it. So, but yeah, so these, like I was telling already in the show,
Yeah.
that this special bank is only number 4. So imagine the other top 3 banks that handle these type of information, what they have.
Yeah, but remember, in some of these countries, the banks are government controlled, like 100%. In this country, they're government regulated, so there's a difference. For instance, the banks in China, they're all government controlled. It's a communist country, so they're pretty much at the will of the government for whatever they want to do. If the government asks them to do something, they have to do it. If not, stuff happens. It's communism. But as far as the Panama paper goes, we're gonna just honestly have to wait and see what's gonna happen.
Okay.
It's a huge case, and it's something that we can talk about in later shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to wait and see what happens.
If you can get your Skype to work.
Took a while. I'd like to thank
Right.
Curtis for helping me with that internet.
Curtis Jackson.
Curtis Jackson.
Oh,
So we call it. So
well,
so okay.
wait one second. Hold on. Before you
go ahead.
continue, Ahmed, can you guys share the stream? I want everybody, if you all, anyone in the audience, if you guys are watching this right now, could you please share the stream? We want to get as many viewers as we can. This show is ultimately the best show on right now. In addition
Hey,
to maybe
it's going good.
Turn
what
off
is
your
it today?
TV,
Today's
man.
Wednesday.
Turn off.
What show comes on a Wednesday?
There's nothing on
TV?
that. Everything's on Thursday.
Yeah, everything's so. Guys, if you could just please share the stream, let viewers watch it. Let them be educated on what it is to be an average American just watching the news and trying to figure out what the hell politics are, because that's what we're trying to do. I mean, I don't know if Patrick O'Brien is an average American. I mean, he is going to FIU and he did learn about all this business and stuff. But man, if you guys can just please share the stream, and I know there's other people out there that need to be educated on this. Ahmed, you want to say anything to our viewers? Pat, do you want to say anything to our viewers?
Hey, send in questions, guys. We're here to answer your question, and
We
we're all
would love to have
we're all
questions.
sharing our different views. And hopefully, Pat could just talk us more
we have
about
a
this
message
whole.
from Gio, the greatest one, says, when is this going to be featured on CNN?
Hey,
That's it.
due
That's
time.
it. See, we need a sponsor first.
Yeah, we need a sponsor.
Right
Hey.
now we're sponsored by like Tito's vodka or something.
Tito's vodka.
But I think we need to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, in due time. But hey, Pat, but I'm really curious about your trips to Europe and everything. Can you tell us more about that?
So yeah, I went to Europe. Most recently I went to Spain during Christmas time. And Europe's a very different experience. Europe's very different from the way that everything works here in the States. It's kind of like a more regional type of thing compared to as the States in a whole. And that's part of the reason why there's a crisis going on. It's because it's a bunch of countries not deciding things for themselves. It's more of like one country type of failure makes the other countries fail at the same time. So it's all about the European Union kind of like falling apart at the seams. It's more about what we'll talk about. I don't know if Alec wants to get into it.
Well, I want to ask you something. Since we have a European Union, right?
Yes.
How come we're not? How come the United States, which is almost the same concept as the European Union, how come it's not having these issues of bailouts within states? How come we're having issues of bailouts within the European Union, which is almost the same thing as having states in the United States, right?
Okay. Yeah. Well,
The idea of federalism.
You can think of it this way. The U.S. in general is as a whole a better economy than their euro is valued higher, but remember there's 28 member states that make up the euro, so it's 28 individual economies that make up the whole euro when it's just one U.S. economy that makes up the U.S. dollar. So if you look at that aspect, people are like, okay, the euro's worth more, but you have to think of it in the aspect that 28 individual countries make up what the European economy is, or the euro, when here it's just the U.S. dollar. So here we have different types. The whole country is, I mean, we're the number one exporter of oil and all that stuff. So you have to look at it that way. We're the number one in a lot of things, and we produce a lot of things. So as an economy, we're up there with the rest of them. We're not a country that doesn't have natural resources, like for instance some of the countries in the Pacific, the little island rim countries that don't have anything. They just have fish, which it's not a sustainable economy.
He brought up a good point. Like he says, "Oh, they're all connected as one, as one country, even though they're separate countries. But the European Union is all connected as one. So if one fails,
it's like a economic political union is what it actually is."
So speaking of that, let me ask you, what about the Greece bailout and all those bailouts in Europe that's like occurring in the financial crisis? Like, how does that affect them over there?
So, for instance, let's talk. I actually wrote it down in my notes a little bit. So, in the end of the summer, maybe around July, August, the Greek people voted on this thing it was nicknamed the Grexit, so the Greek exit from the euro. It was it's pretty much they gave a referendum to the people of Greece, and they asked them, okay, so do you want to leave the European Union, which means going back to the Greek drachma, which was their currency before the euro? Because remember, the euro is the currency that 24 out of the 28 member states use. So, for instance, the Greeks use the euro, and so do the people in Belgium, so do the people in France. But they were saying that the euro was valued too high for the type of economy that Greek was producing. It wasn't. The whole theory of the European Union is that there's states, for instance, Germany, France, they're very rich in their economies, and then there's states like for instance Greece that aren't so good in their economies. Yeah. So basically the referendum, what it did was it gave the Greek people a vote to see if they wanted to leave the euro, and they ultimately voted no to leave the euro because
I want to leave the euro, man. You got all these nice things.
That's the thing. People would, if they were to switch from the euro back to their national currency, the euros that they had in their banks would be seriously devalued because it would be converted to their original national currency, which is Greek drachma. So when they voted no, they had to go into more bailouts. So, for instance, the European Central Bank, which is in Germany, had to finance loans in order to bail out the Greek government. So that's how it works. So, like, a bank in Germany would bail out the Greek government. It's not like here where, like, if Florida is in debt, they go to Washington.
Well, let me say this: Federal Reserve, right? They have a Federal Reserve.
Yeah, it would be the European Central Bank, which is it controls the euro. So every country that uses the euro, it controls that type of.
Okay.
Like I think that all these bailouts is not really solving the issue. I think that the country, like for example, Greece and like the inner working, the government and stuff, they need to figure out what the problem is and to work at a solution. And the European as well, they need to work a solution out to help this from not reoccurring in the future again.
Correct. The theory that we have here in the States is that when in 2008 during the bailout, we actually fixed our problems. Not all of them, but we fixed what, the lawmakers got together and they figured out what the problems were, and they tried to fix it so nothing like that can happen again. Over in Europe, it's a totally different situation. It's more like
add money.
They just throw euros at the situation. We're going to throw 45 million euros at the situation. So it goes, just like, oh, whatever. It'll eventually fix itself. And it doesn't help either that Greece is one of the countries, Greece and Italy, which are two failing economies in Europe, are dealing with the immigrant crisis currently.
Which is another load of money they need to receive to handle.
When someone applies for EU citizenship or EU visa, they have to go through Greece because Greece is right there in Turkey. That's where everybody's leaving from. So, Greece is overwhelmed with all these people and all these things, and they don't have enough police force, and the police force isn't getting paid.
Yeah,
it's just a whole situation of, Greek as an economy not being able to afford itself, as you can say.
And I think all these immigrants that are coming from Syria, fleeing the war, they're going through all the European countries. I think it's a very negative effect. Like you said, like they're being out-resourced. Too many
Yeah.
people, maybe a disease or whatnot, bringing with them crime or whatever it may be. It's just I think it's overwhelming these countries,
I
and I think
wouldn't
that's going to cause.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad thing in general. I would say it's a bad economic thing because
Mm.
these people are in war-torn countries and they do have the right, like much of the people here who come to the States, to find refuge.
But they should
But
go to
But
Arab
they should
countries
have a
though.
right to fix their own country
that's a
too.
whole.
They should go to the Arab countries
I
because the Arab
agree
countries
with
don't
you.
do
I agree
anything.
with you. The Arab countries have way more money than the EU does, but that's not this conversation, is it? That's a whole different conversation. So it's a matter of what is Europe going to do? What is Europe? Because look, if you look at the richest economy in Europe right now, it's the UK, which doesn't use the euro because they were smart
They were
about it
smart, man.
in
They said the
1990s.
pound
Yeah.
was worth more than the euro, and it still is today.
They kept the British pound, which is valued almost, I think, 50 cents higher than the euro is.
Oh
So
wow.
they were smart to do that. But the UK is actually having a vote next October to vote to actually leave the euro in general, like no
I
economic.
would. If I had my own currency, I would.
The euro is a failing system. It was something that worked in the 90s when economies were developing. But now when you have countries like small countries like Lithuania and all these little tiny countries joining the euro, and they're supposed to be in the same economic scale as a country like Germany,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Germany, if it was go on and make its own currency again and go back to the what was it, the German? I forgot what it was
Mark?
called.
Let me ask you something. Is
Mark?
Russia included in the?
It's actually not.
Not okay.
No, thank God, because the Russia economy is bad right now.
They keep their ruble, and they've kept their ruble since before
Okay.
it was Soviet. But it's just a bunch of that. The euro,
Thank
it was
you,
a
Conrad.
the euro generally started. The European Union generally started as a trade initiative
Yeah.
to make trade after World War II. Pretty much all of Europe was destroyed between
Just
the
wanted to
Americans,
start a
the
trade
Germans, the
again.
Russians.
They were
All
like,
the
yeah.
yeah, all the cities were bombed out, and no one had money to rebuild the country.
There's still a lot
So
of sentiment over to the Germans. Like a lot of people hated the Germans. A lot of people hated the
exactly.
Italians.
It was a feeling of nationalism that people like in the 1950s after the wars, people were like, okay, yeah, we're a region, but like we don't feel together. Like we hate the Germans and
Plus, you had
Italians.
the Cold War too.
Exactly. So it was
But
more like,
it sounds like an amazing idea, though. If you think
of
about
course,
it.
no, at
Trade,
first it was a great idea,
yes.
trade idea because you can mine things in, for instance, Germany, and then you can send to Italy, and it would be there would be no tariff. It would just be free trade. So generally, it was good up until like the 90s when they adopted the euro together, which is still a good idea because you pretty much all of Europe you can drive through. So if, for instance, you start in Spain and you drive all the way to Greece, you just use the same currency instead of having to go to each individual bank and
Except when you go to the UK.
so it's good. It's good for companies. It's good for regular citizens that just want to travel
Yeah.
from place to place. Plus, the political portion of it all, you don't need a visa. So you basically, if you're a Spanish citizen and you want to go live in Greece for a while, you just say you're moving there, and that's it.
That's
It's just
nice.
part of,
It's like
That's
here in
nice.
the United States. When you say you want
It's
to go to
good.
some other state and you want to live there, you just move.
It's good, exactly. But
Okay.
for countries like Greece, where the economy is, I think I read somewhere that the economy of Greece is smaller than the economy of New York City.
Wow.
It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense for it to be on the same level as a country like Germany and France, who are thriving now, even though with all the problems that are going on.
It's because they're getting all
Good
this
point.
interest back from all the loans they give to Greece.
Exactly. Well, they ain't getting no interest back because I'm telling you, Greece ain't paying back those loans. They got no money to pay back.
Hey, so I was
Yeah.
mentioning this on the stream earlier. I was hearing that Europe is looking into doing negative interest on banks.
They're looking at any opportunity for someone to just throw money at them. Like I said, the euro is nothing. It's a very unstable currency.
Hold on, before I interrupt you, everyone who doesn't know, Patrick O'Brien is actually a banker. So if you guys need any questions in regards
That's
to your
true.
bank accounts or your interest rates or anything in financing, come to my man,
Appreciate the shout out, Alex.
O'Brien. Go ahead.
At TD Bank, don't miss out.
America's most convenient bank. He's available right now if you need him.
Thank you, Alec.
Yeah. So go ahead. Talk about
I forgot what we were talking about.
the negative interest.
Oh, okay. So basically, they're looking at any opportunity for someone to invest in Europe. Like I said, the euro is a very unstable currency. I see it all the time. People want to buy a bunch of euros and then sell them back in a week's time. They're 10 cents less than they were.
Hold
And
on.
10 cents on the euro is a lot of money when you have a lot of investments.
1 second before I stop.
Yeah.
We got a question from Andrew Jordan on the stream. Hey, he says he's got a question for all three of you, but he didn't ask us what the question was. So
That's all.
I'm gonna wait for him to respond.
Yeah, hopefully our viewers remember type your questions out so that we were able to read them out so we can answer them for you guys.
Yeah. Hey guys, just go ahead and type your whole questions out. We're here ready to respond to them. We're just waiting for you to just write your questions. That's it. Just let us
Anything.
know.
And mind you,
If I don't
it's
know
a-
the
it's a-
answer, I'll look it up for you.
yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, Andrew Jordan. Whenever you get a chance, just
Quick
please.
shout out to my girlfriend.
Okay. She
Nice.
asked you to
How
shout
are
her
you?
out, didn't she?
Gotta do it, gotta keep it
Okay.
happy.
Here's our question. What are our opinions on labor unions?
Labor unions.
I'm gonna give my opinion last.
I don't want. Ahmed, you go first.
No, you. Why
I don't think Ahmed has
No.
ever worked a day in his life.
Hey, all right. Well, let me set the record straight. I had 2 jobs. Okay, I worked at Target and I worked at Panera Bread. Okay, I hated them. They were awful. I'll be honest with you. But I don't know. I feel that the labor groups should have representation amongst themselves to be represented, because so that they won't be abused, misused, or mistreated as we've seen in the past. That's why we have unions, right? To help the fellow worker. I think they're a good thing. I don't see anything wrong with having a labor union in our force.
Okay, what do you think about it, Pat?
I would agree with Ahmed. I think labor unions are a good thing. But it's a lot of lobbying that goes into congressmen and senators that it kind of just gets stagnated, and then money just gets thrown at the problem and nothing really happens. I think the U.S. as a whole needs to redo its whole way it does business, man. It needs to. It has to do with the Panama Papers too. It has companies sending money elsewhere because taxes are too high.
Hey man,
If
people are
if
putting their money in other countries and not putting it in our own country, there's something wrong.
the
It's
US
because they're
the US is
evading
a good
taxes.
the U.S. is a good country to do business in, man. But the thing is, if taxes are going to be way too high, it's not worth it. If you can put your money in Bulgaria, let's say, and you get less taxes, you're going to make more money. That turns out better because you can buy more products, you can pay your employees more. It just makes sense. The U.S. as a whole just needs to change the way it does everything. It's a lot of old school techniques that
You got something to
went
say,
out of
Ahmed?
style. in the
And
70s.
all these major corporations, all these, like we said, the lobbyists, I think it fuels the corruption in the system. Like, oh,
course.
if you want this done, then you better do what we tell you to do to get you in power. It's just like and like
Money
it goes
gets thrown
back.
in situations.
Yeah, and it goes back to the unions, like you said. No wonder that they don't get enough funding. No wonder they're not able to do more things. Is because, like you said, it's just stuck at Congress because no one wants to fight for them because it's not important for them at the
It's
moment.
not important, exactly. Who cares
Alright.
about a farmer in Iowa?
Yeah.
What do you
Let
see?
me give you my opinion on unions. I agree with you guys. I think
Alright.
unions are a great thing to have in a political sense. Let me give you an example. I haven't joined a union yet at FIU. I work at FIU. This is my third month of working here. They approached me about joining a labor union. And I said I'd give them a thought. Hey, give me some time.
Hey,
Let me.
There's unions for everything, man.
Yeah, you gotta pay dues.
It's like
all
a
these
fraternity.
dues and stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me think about it because it does cost money. I gotta take some money out of my paycheck, which I need.
How much does it cost? I'm just curious. How much does that cost?
No, don't worry about it.
No. What? I mean, I'm just curious. How much would that to join a union
Huh?
cost? Like, are we talking about what, $500?
No, it's like a monthly thing. They take out of your pay,
Like 10?
Yeah, it's like a just a thing they take out of your payroll. I'm
yeah,
assuming
pretty much.
Well,
But
give
anyways,
me. I'm curious. Give me an
a
example.
round number, right?
Yeah, it's like $10, 15
yeah,
bucks.
it's pretty much like $10 every paycheck. So it's like
Oh,
$20
that's
a
not
month.
bad.
That's
Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But the thing is, it covers like legal fees if you ever get into legal fees, like anything legal, and it
Yeah,
covers
it's
any representation
all-inclusive,
you need,
all-inclusive.
and stuff like that, and insurance. Like I guess if something happens with you when you're working on your job, not workman's comp, but like in case you get fired and like you were supposed to be represented by your legal union,
Severance.
something like that.
Something.
I'm getting.
Yes.
Why would you need that for an FIU job? I'm curious.
Because you're represented underneath the state. I'm a state employee underneath FIU.
Okay.
So let me give you some background.
Actually, a federal employee.
State employee. Well, not yet. Because we do get federal funds, but we don't get paid
But
by
you
the
work for
federal
this.
funds.
You work for the state education, whatever. Different conversation.
Yeah, whatever. Another time. Anyways, so here's my opinion. Recently Rick Scott vetoed a bill to raise state employees' pay.
Are you talking about the minimum wage?
No, state employees' pay.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Florida
minimum wage.
politics, normal.
Yeah. So here's where the labor union comes in. Labor union says, you know what? Like if this was a more serious matter where we were demanding a pay raise, if we haven't gotten a pay raise in the past 3 years, and we've been asking every year, and Rick Scott just vetoed it all the time, then it would be serious. It would be like, hey, you know what? Everyone in the union, don't go to work. Don't go to work today. Just stay at home. Relax. You're not gonna get fired. You're represented by the union. So, so I think, when that happens, people are like, man, we can't get workday done today. And then people that are like, trying to apply to FIU, or like somebody that's trying to, work at school or trying to get their pay, like they're not going to teach students. They're not going to get shit done. And that's what upsets the states. And the state is forced to make a contract with the labor unions to increase pay for all individuals are under the pay of the state, which is the state employees. And the shit, I mean, it's up until that point that shit has to get done, and the labor unions have to actually enforce that with their demands. But it does come in handy when you're not listened to, because think about it, I can get denied a pay increase every year, and like nothing will ever get done. Like, what would happen if I never got paid next year, increased? I would just continue on going, like, on the same path, because I have no say. Unions have a big say when it comes to demanding a collective bargaining agreement with the state. So,
it's funny. Just sorry, Jeff, since you brought up Rick Scott about, I think it was today or yesterday, where he got yelled at Starbucks.
Today, Starbucks in Gainesville.
You got called an asshole.
It was awesome. I was watching the video, and then they were just bashing him. And to me, I felt good, because it was so nice to hear a normal, average person voice her view of just concern. And like, it was funny because she's a woman, and she was talking about her body and how he could pass laws to govern her body. Well, Pat, earlier in the session, I brought it up. We were talking about Donald Trump, actually, about why his raids were going down with women, but the comment about, if a woman has an abortion, we need to punish her. And I was like, a woman has her own body; she can do whatever she wants to do with her own body. But
it's really not up to the government to make that choice.
I think it's ridiculous.
Pat, what do you think about Rick Scott?
I mean,
do you like him or do you not?
I don't like him as a politician, because I think Florida's one of those states that's going to make money regardless. It's just, it has so many.
His answer to everything is we've increased jobs. That's his answer to everything.
And it's true. He has increased jobs, but like what I was saying, Florida's just one of those states that's going to make money regardless. We have tourism, we have agriculture, we have fishing, we have all these things. It's more just like, okay, what new are we going to open? What employees are going to work there? Type of situation. The one thing that Florida still doesn't do good on is the housing market, which definitely affected here in Miami back in 2000.
Did you guys hear that thing on the news the other day? I don't know where it was. It was about Miami. It says the average first-time homeowner or the first-time buyer cannot afford a new house in Miami.
Oh, the city's completely unaffordable.
Yeah. You have to have already owned a house in order to buy a house in Miami for the first time. Or to buy a house. Not for the first time.
And that's why you always see all these millennials after they graduate college. For instance, a lot of people go to FIU. So they'll leave the city. They'll leave the city.
They'll leave the city. Live the American dream if you can't.
That's why I get told. That's why we had those conversations. Like, go to law school. We had to tell you what to choose. Business. You gotta get to the main fields. Unfortunately, it's true. You gotta get to the big areas where they offer the big incomes, where there's more possibilities for you to pursue higher career jobs and to get that wealth. Because, like you said, it's hard to live nowadays. Back in the old days, I got a high school degree. Okay, then it was, I got a college degree. Okay, now I got a college degree. Now I need a master's degree, or now I need a PhD degree. So now you need to work harder and be more successful than before. To increase your level.
Now, how did this all change? What do you guys think this change happened where you couldn't be able to afford the American dream?
I'd say in the 90s.
Do you think it
Uh,
was because of Reagan or after Reagan,
but you talking about Miami in general? You talking about
or
everything?
like the entire U.S.? What do you think?
Uh, I think it started. I would say after Reagan, probably.
You think?
Maybe around
Okay.
Clinton when the country started to make a lot more money. We boomed into the internet age. People started to make a lot more money in different types of industries, like for the internet and all that stuff. So everything kind of became more expensive as a whole.
Mm.
And you know, I guess here in Miami, people realized that they could raise rent, and they still make money because people need to live. You can't just live under the 95 overpass.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not. You can't just like wake up in the morning, like shower in the rain, and just get dressed to go to work. It doesn't work like that.
and
Man.
things are advancing technology
Yeah.
But I
wise.
mean, like, how did we
Like there's all
go?
these new
How
innovations.
did we go to like a family that can only survive on under one source of income to a family that everyone in the family has to provide a source of income in order to live and survive? Like back in the day, before Reagan, there was so many families that that only the father or the husband would only provide for the family and be able to afford everything.
Well,
It
times have
has,
changed.
yeah,
Good. Go ahead.
But why
yeah,
can't we still
like
have that? That's what America was all about.
it's all about competitiveness, man. Like Ahmed was saying earlier, you know, everybody has a high school diploma now. You have to go to school.
Yeah.
It's a government mandate. Everyone under the 12th grade needs to go to school and graduate. So everyone has a high school education, pretty much, unless you dropped out. But pretty much everybody has a high school education. Now everyone has a bachelor's degree. That's the whole thing. Like anyone you ask on the street went
You got a bachelor's
FIU for
degree?
something. Who, me?
Yes, you.
I'm graduating. I'm not done.
Hey, you got a bachelor's degree, Ahmed?
Amen. Thank
Hey,
God.
so do I.
Friggin' 4.5 years.
Working on the
But
masters, working on the law
no,
degree.
but the thing is, since like he says, since everybody has it, they want something special. They want someone who could excel and to
It's
give more.
it's everybody. You can graduate with the bachelor's and still make $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
It's
I understand. Yeah,
And that's why I recommend all my friends get a master's.
Yeah, you
Go
definitely need to go
higher.
above the next level. If
but
you
I
if
mean,
you want to,
okay,
I mean, it all depends on where you live
let
in this country because you can live in the middle of Iowa and pay $300 a month for rent, but it all becomes like,
let's
do you want to live in the middle of Iowa and be
let's
in,
shift our
Torture. I
focus.
can't.
Okay, so with the bubble that burst in 2008, the housing bubble, right?
Mm.
Do you think the same thing is going to happen with student loans? Because all these people are taking out student loans. You said everyone has a bachelor's degree. They don't have the money to afford it. They obviously got to take out a loan. Do you think the same thing is
um,
going to happen where all these individuals are going to default on their student loans?
I think it's already happening. People just aren't going to pay their loans, and honestly, it's just going to be one of those things. It's not going to really be as I don't think it's going to be as detrimental as 2008 was, but something really needs to be done in what the government's going to do and like thinking ahead kind of thing. Kind of anticipate this happening soon or later. Things like this have been planned before. I was going to say in Greece before they decided to have they thought that before the banks would collapse, they came up with this thing called Plan Z, which sounds diabolical,
Like the
but
Like World
zombies.
War Z.
it was created by
Yeah.
the IMF and politicians in the EU to kind of like simulate the Greek bank collapse. Like, what would happen? Would people go crazy, or would people like that's why they call it Plan Z? Just like it's the last thing before they do anything else. So it kind of goes back to that. It's kind of has to be like the government deciding, okay, so like if this happens, what's going to be affected? What are we going to do? How are we going to recover? How are we going to, prevent what happened in 2008 from happening again? From all these people losing jobs, like from one thing collapsing. A good movie to watch is The Big Short. I don't know if you
Yeah,
know the
we
scene.
brought that up earlier.
Okay, so yeah, it's a good movie to watch. It really does a good job. It's funny, but it does a really good job in explaining what happened in 2008, how one industry collapsed the entire country,
Yeah.
how the housing industry made someone who builds cars lose their job. So it's all about anticipating the wrong. And it comes back to the U.S. kind of changing its policies on things, kind of to look forward instead of like, okay, when it happens, we'll just throw money at it, which is what happened in bailout. Which thank God bailout happened because ultimately the country would have been destroyed.
I still think that issue is like I think they
Oh,
need
we
to
lost Mr.
moving.
305.
Can you hear me?
We can't see
Yeah,
you.
yeah, we got.
Man, Caribbean connection is so bad.
Hey, don't hate, all right. But no, for sure. like that movie. Like I think that they should have been prosecuted, or they should have been like kind of taught a lesson so this won't happen again. You know,
Uh,
I understand they bailed him out. Okay, well, we had to, of course, but
Earth to
Yeah,
I
Ahmed.
still
Earth to
you're
Ahmed.
you're saying the people who went around and did these bad type of business practices.
yeah, like I think they should be like prosecuted. Like if the government's always bailing out these people, no one's ever gonna learn their mistake. Like, oh, I'll just get away with it again. You know?
Yeah, I agree
Man,
with you
your
there.
connection is so bad.
Something like that happened in Iceland actually in early 2000s. They jailed all the bankers that were the cause of the Icelandic economic collapse.
Now
And
look at it. A freaking the prime minister's in jail, or not in
yeah,
jail yet. Yet
well, he stepped down
stepped
because
down, that's right.
he already knows what's going to happen. The
Yeah.
people come after him like they did, or
I don't know
like they
how
did.
you could pick somebody to lead a country, which like you don't do.
Well, no one knows though. Like
No one
even
knows, Alec. You know, it's kind of
like
like
only now. Like
you elect someone in the hopes of that they won't do this, but for all we know, Obama's been withdrawing cash from the IRS and just putting it in like
I'm t-
Lithuania or something. Who knows?
like
Paying for his
like all
daughter's
that
college when she goes to
Eh,
college. Right?
like all that power that once
I
you get all that
severely
power.
doubt the president of the United States would be involved.
Yes. So please do not sue us if
Yeah.
you
But
think this is slander. It's not.
it's you know
I
it's
don't
just
think so. I don't think, yeah. But I'm saying, but like, imagine you have all that power, all that wealth, you know, all that. Then, you know, if you're weak, like I was mentioning earlier, you're just gonna get sucked into that, and you're gonna make these wrong
it's based
decisions.
on trust, man. Like if you're gonna elect someone and you trust them, who's to say they're not gonna just turn around and do something bad?
Exactly.
I, I mean,
All right, so I'm gonna take these last few minutes to ask anybody any questions, maybe any viewers who are watching the stream. Um, if anyone in the audience has anything to ask on the stream, just go ahead and write in the chat. We're here to answer your questions.
before we wrap up,
Before we wrap up, it's 10:30. I would like to have Pat again here on the stream sometime soon.
I will definitely come back. This is a great honor, man.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
it's a pleasure. Thank you.
I'll talk about Asian corruption or something.
Asian corruption.
Well, at least now, whenever we have a business topic, you know, we can bring always Mr. O'Brien into our show, and he could share us his insight about
I'll
different things.
definitely come
And
with
if
my
you're not
insight.
there, I'll probably bring on Giovanni Carmona, who thinks.
We should do a duo.
um,
Any questions or anything going on?
I don't think there's any questions here. To
Okay.
my opinion. Do you guys have any questions in regards to this, to what we talked about today?
I just want to say thank you to Mr. O'Brien for, you know, again, joining us. It was a privilege to hear your insight and your views and your experiences, and to my colleague Alec Leilani as well. And I think, you know, this show is just bringing more knowledge and education, dialogue about different views like we had described, and hopefully, you know, it could continue to prosper and continue as we're doing.
I definitely agree.
What about you, Pat?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on the show. It's great to talk to you. I like the concept of just a couple of Americans sitting down and having a chat.
Yeah, trying to make it big, man. Hey,
It's
you know,
bless
you could
up.
end up on CNN.
Who knows? Who knows? They might call us up to Atlanta and move there.
I think
Never-
I think,
you never know. You never
Everyone
know.
is tired of having, you know, political strategists like trying to talk about how to manage the country, or you know, the news people, the news anchors. They're professionals. We don't need professionals. We just need to hear the average American person talking about
It's more of
what's
like
going on
straight
with politics.
straight from the source.
Thank
Kind of
you.
just like opinion, you know.
Yeah,
It's people in the media are kind of forced to have an opinion, but here we're a little bit more open.
yeah. We just talk about what we hear, and what we know, what we can, you know, hear from other conversations or whatever. And
Yeah.
the thing is, like, we're not watching the news every day to hope something, pray to God, hope something comes out so we can talk about it. No, if we have something to talk about, we'll talk about it on here. If it comes out during the week, then that's it. We're not going to be saying we're leaning towards one side, you know, or with the other. We're not going to be like Fox News, who's like, what, pro-Republican?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
look,
man. I mean, don't get us wrong. We do our research, but
Yeah.
we're not just we're not leaning to one side, as Alex said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I was saying, like we're bringing different views,
And barriers.
and we're open minded. Like, you know, how we feel, our thoughts, everything. Like it's nice to bring all these views together so that we can express ourselves, and like you said, not just have one straight path of just one thought process, you know. And hopefully by doing this, we can bring that and open people's eyes to the world, and not just the world political news, but social issues that's going on in America and different things like that. So,
All right. So last thing I want to say before we wrap it up, I want to say thank you to all our viewers out there. Thank you for watching the show. Hope to see you guys next week. As I said again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. Message me here on YouTube. Give me a call. You have my personal number, text. Try to give me a text or something. If you have any individual questions, we would love to answer your questions on the stream, and we'd love to have you on the stream as well if you want to be a guest. I mean, we had a great time with Patrick O'Brien on here in the stream talking about his views about Europe, and it was a great stream. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys watch it next week. And
Thank you.
have a good night, guys.